Joining me right now is Texas Congressman Mac Thornberry. He serves on the House Armed Services Committee, and it is good to see you, sir. Thanks very much for joining us, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on this Kim Jong-un meeting coming up on June 12th? First off, let's start there.
Well, number one, it's very important for the president to be talking with President Moon, because what the North Koreans are trying to do is to divide us from our allies. That's what all of this running hot and cold is designed to do. What it's also designed to do is to make us relax our efforts. Several times over the past week, I've been asked by reporters, well, do we still need to pursue this missile defense stuff if there's going to be peace on the Korean Peninsula? And that's exactly the sort of question that the North Koreans are trying to provoke to get us to relax. So it's important to be vigilant. It's important to stay with our allies, knowing that they're going to try to manipulate us.
Meanwhile, you have China sending messages by sending these nuclear potential bombers into the South China Sea. What message was China trying to deliver with that move?
That the South China Sea is their lake, and everybody else had better ask their permission if they want to go through there. One of the concerns I have is that the world has been so riveted on the North Korean drama that meanwhile China has progressed steadily, step by step, in militarizing the South China Sea and trying to intimidate the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, the other countries in the region, as well as the United States. So this is another place where military strength, and in this case more ships, is absolutely essential just to protect freedom of navigation.
Yes, and we just spoke with the chairman of the Intel Committee, Devin Nunes, about this. He's investigating China in that regard. Exactly. You've got the defense authorization bill that you're bringing to the floor this upcoming week. Tell us about that.
Well, this is step 2 in trying to rebuild our military and also reform the Pentagon. You and I have talked a lot in the past about accidents and trying to fix our planes and ships and training and so forth. This is the essential next step to do that. But also in this bill are a number of items that help make us better prepared against North Korean missile threats, against Iran, against all the things that China's doing, Russia, the terrorists, etc. So historically, it's had bipartisan support. I hope that the increasing partisanship we see on other issues does not diminish the bipartisan support for the men and women of the military.
Yeah, I mean, these are all really important points. The idea that China is getting stronger militarily, I mean, their economy is obviously doing better. They're expected to grow 7%, 6.5% this year in terms of the economics. So they are also looked at as stealing intellectual property from the United States and transferring technology. Are they transferring technology and then applying that technology, American technology, to their industrialized as well as military complex?
Oh, absolutely. If there is one theme that has come through in our committee's hearings and briefings, classified and unclassified, over the course of this year, it is that China doesn't just take an all-of-government approach, they take an all-of-nation approach. Any company, any individual will be a tool of the Chinese government to steal, to buy, to borrow, whatever it takes, intellectual property that can be used in their military against us. And so we've got to toughen our laws as well as strengthen our own military.
Yeah, so are you worried that the president is going to give in on that issue? I mean, China wants the 301 issue, national security issue, off the table. Should it be buying more goods from the United States? But just getting the trade deficit down doesn't address these issues that are more important for the U.S. economy. That's IP theft and technology transfer.
Yeah, I agree with that. There is a lot of support in Congress to tighten up the laws that prevent IP theft, or even if they come in as investors and get it that way. We can't fuel our adversaries the way we have been, and China is the leading one that's taken our stuff.
Real quick, we only have a few seconds here. The EU says it's going to stick to the Iran deal after the U.S. pulled out. Your thoughts?
Tomorrow, I think Secretary of State Pompeo is going to outline a broader approach to Iran that would go beyond the EU and involve other nations, and I think that's what it takes. We see Iran being more aggressive in all sorts of fronts, including against Israel. And so we need a broad coalition to push back against Iran. A key component of that is military strength, but diplomacy and economic sanctions have to be part of it too.
And you could do that with a group of countries away from the EU.
You can make some progress. It'd be better if the EU and the rest of us were on the same team, but you can broaden the aperture a little bit and you can make progress.
Congressman, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
We appreciate it. Mac Thornberry. That'll do it for us.